Second inning, 3-0 in favor of the Red Sox. And when they announce Manny Ramirez's name, we will just shut up and let you decide for yourself how the crowd has reacted to him. Right now, they're waiting for Dubron to make his last few warm-up tosses. It will be Ramirez, Blake, and Loney in the second inning. Manny Ramirez, of course, was here from 2001 into the end of June in 2008. While he was here, he helped the Red Sox win 2 World Series, 2004 and 2007. So again, we are waiting for the introduction of Manny, and then the audio will really take over one way or another. What do you think will happen? You think he'd be cheered? Do you think he'd be booed? Do you think it would be mixed? Do you think one would outroar the other? Well, in a moment, he'll find out, and so will we. Just a sidebar to the story itself.
Designated hitter
now,
number
here it comes. Now
Manny
for the Dodgers, Manny Ramirez. Well, there are a lot of folks who are giving him a standing ovation. One of the signs said about 2004, "Thank you, Manny." So he's being welcomed back, and now Manny checks in, and the first pitch from Dubron, that's hit in the air to center. Coming in and over to pick it off is Mike Cameron, who has 3 gold gloves. So Manny doesn't hang around. First ball swinging and flies to center. 1 away. So Ramirez, the DH, goes back to the dugout, and Casey Blake coming up. 1 away, second inning. Red Sox on top, 3-0. David Ortiz hits a 3-1 pitch with a man aboard out of sight, and then J.D. Drew hits a 2-0 pitch for a home run, and the Dodgers are down by 3. Casey Blake takes a look at a strike, and the count 0-1. Casey had a good stay in Cincinnati. He went 6 for 11. In fact, in his last 28 road games, he's hitting over 300. He takes off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Interesting, Casey at home hitting only 240. Dubron looks down to Varitek to get a sign. Now the left-hander deals off the plate. 2-1 the count. 1 away, second inning. Red Sox 3, Dodgers 0. Dodgers began the night tied with San Diego for first place. Red Sox with a 3-game winning streak, 2 games back of the Yankees and Tampa Bay. Next pitch is swung on and fouled back, 2-2. For the Red Sox, they're also enjoying a little battle with the National League. They just swept Arizona, and they've been very, very tough at home. They've won 9 of the last 11 here at Fenway. Now the 2-2 pitch is swung on and fouled away. So with 1 out, the count stays 2-2. Sox are 5-1 on the homestand. They took 2 out of 3 from the Phillies and a perfect 3-0 against Arizona. And then Manny came up, swung at the first pitch and made out. Dubron into the windup. The left-hander delivers, and he's low. And the count goes 3-2. One thing for Dubron, he has a very handy guy behind the plate in Jason Varitek. Varitek in his career has caught 4 no-hitters. John Lester's, Clay Buchholz, Derek Lowe, and Hideo Nomo. Big bouncer to shortstop. Right there is Scutaro to make the play. So the Dodgers with 2 down here in the second inning, and James Loney will be coming up. So Blake grounds to short after Ramirez flied to center. And now Loney, who was 7 for 13 in Cincinnati. He had 4 RBIs and 4 doubles. So the left-hand hitting first baseman hitting .306. 5 home runs, 43 runs batted in. Red Sox lead 3-0. We're in the top of the second inning. Home runs by David Ortiz and J.D. Drew. And the first pitch to Loney is a little low, ball 1, 1-0. James in a ballpark where you figure to get some doubles with that big green monster in left field. He's second in the league. He has 22 doubles. DeBront ready and deals, and James lays off a pitch low. So 2-0 the count to Loney. 2 out, second inning. Joe Torre, in talking about Loney in Cincinnati, was saying, I'm convinced he has ice water in his veins. So James, a great guy to have up there in the clutch. The 2-0 pitch swung on and fouled back, and the count 2-1. Of course, the other thing about Loney, not only is he a good hitter, he is a marvelous first baseman. His career at first base, that's over 500 games. He has a .993 fielding percentage. Fouls another one back, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fenway Park in Boston opened up in 1912. Wrigley Field, Chicago, opened in 1914. The top deck is pretty new. They put that up in 1989. And the pitch to Loney, that is low. So James goes all the way, 3-2 against Felix DeBront. 2 out. DeBront has retired 5 in a row. The Dodgers are 8-9 against left-hand starters. 4-4 at home, 4-5 on the road. And the pitch to Loney is swung on and fouled away. Steven Strasburg, we understand, is pitching tonight against the Chicago White Sox, and the White Sox lead 1-0, second inning. All right, the 3-2 pitch coming up. DeBront ready, left-hander starts, delivers, and it's lifted foul off third, coming over his belt tray near the railing of the box seats, and backhands it for the out. 6 in a row retired by Felix DeBront, and at the end of an inning and a half, 3-0 Boston. Bottom of the second inning, 3-0 Boston on a 2-run home run by David Ortiz and a solo home run by J.D. Drew, all in the first inning. Now it'll be Jason Varitek, the switch hitting catcher, who'll bat left-handed, followed by Mike Cameron, and then Daniel Nava, the left fielder. We were talking earlier about this Red Sox ball club, and we can tell you that Varitek hitting .263, 7 home runs, 12 runs batted in, and the first pitch to Jason in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Varitek's from Rochester, Minnesota. He was the #1 pick by the Mariners back in 1994. The Mayo Clinic, of course, very famous in Rochester, Minnesota. Varitek pulls one down the right field line, foul. And the count 0-2 to the big catcher, who's been with the Red Sox since 1997. One thing about Varitek, the club did not pick up their option for this year. He had 5 days to decide. He picked up his option and remains a Red Sox. The difference of the 2 options, about $2 million, but he wanted to stay here. Been here since '97 and has made some big money, and well, he should. So Varitek waiting, 1-2 the count. Monasterio over the top, a shot right between his legs, on through behind the infield. At second base goes Belliard, but he can't make a play. So it'll be a single for Jason Varitek. Varitek, of course, as a veteran catcher, does not run that well. So Belliard refused to quit on a ball up the middle, and his off-balance throw was still not in time at all. Varitek was well down the line. So for Monasterios, he's being pushed around a little bit. 3 runs and 4 hits. Good effort by Belliard. And now Mike Cameron, who is certainly no stranger after all the years he spent, especially in San Diego, taking extra base hits and home runs from the Dodgers. Mike fouls it away. The possessor of 3 Gold Gloves, Mike from LaGrange, Georgia, and was an 18th round pick by the White Sox back in 1991. Came up with the Sox, then the Mariners and the Mets, the Padres, the Brewers, and then this year the Red Sox. The next pitch to Cameron is lifted to left center. Johnson going back along with Kemp, and it will be Johnson right at the base of the wall to make the catch. And back to first goes Varitek. So a long out to left, one away. Daniel Nava coming up. You know, you can cap off your holiday weekend with an Independence Day fireworks spectacular Monday, July 5th. Compliments of Hyundai. Watch the Dodgers and Marlins at 6:10. After the game, all fans invited on the field to take in the show. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com or call 866-DODGERS. Daniel Nava. What a story. A kid who was cut as a freshman from Santa Clara. And in his first major league at bat, came up and hit the first pitch for a grand slam home run. This time the first pitch, he lifts it to Reed Johnson in left field, and we have two down. Marco Scutaro will be coming up. Another thing to keep in mind about the Red Sox, they are anything but a ground ball team. In fact, in the American League, they rank 11th in ratio of ground outs to air outs. So Francona, in a small ballpark, has a home run hitting ball club. And as we said, they began the day 2 games back of the Yankees and Tampa Bay. So here's Marco Scutaro, grounded out in the first inning. Throw over to first, and Varitek back on the bag. For the Red Sox, they do not do a lot of running at all. They've only stolen 23 bases, because they are such a power hitting ball club. Out of a stretch goes Monasterios, and the pitch is low, ball 1. The Red Sox do not steal those 23 stolen bases. They look at the opportunities to steal and then figure out when they did or try and when they didn't. And they're way down, 14th in the league. Out of a stretch goes Monasterios, again checking first, back to his hitter with a strike, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. With their 23 stolen bases, the Red Sox are 14th in the league. 3-0 Boston on home runs by Ortiz and Drew. Monasterios set at the belt. Young right-hander looking over his shoulder at first, back to his hitter low, blocked nicely by Martin. New ball put in play, 2-1 the count. Ted Barrett is the plate umpire, and where Barrett is, usually things happen. Among other things, he was the plate umpire when David Cone pitched his perfect game, and he was also the plate umpire when Greg Maddux won his 300th game. He's also been umpiring about 14 years in the big league. Here's the 2-1 pitch on the way. Monasterios ready, right-handed delivers, and as a hopper behind second base, Belliard takes it to the bag for the force play, and that's it. No runs, a hit, a man left, and at the end of 2, Red Sox 3, Dodgers nothing. Red Sox leading the Dodgers 3-0 as we go to the 3rd inning. Ronnie Belliard followed by Reed Johnson and then Jamie Carroll as the Dodgers try to recover from those booming home runs. David Ortiz hit it out at the 420 mark on a 3-1 count, and then J.D. Drew hit one off the very top of the green monster. It went in and out of the seats for his home run, and that made it 3-0. So the bottom 3 in the Dodger lineup now will start. Belliard hitting .256 with a home run and 12 runs batted in. Felix Dubron, young left-hander, ready and makes his first pitch to Belliard, and that swung on, hit to deep center. Cameron going back all the way to the corner at the 320 mark. By the time he gets it back in, Belliard has a stand-up double. So the Dodgers' first hit, a long double into the crease out there in center field. So 3-0 in favor of the Sox. Belliard doubles, and now Johnson followed by Carroll. So for Ronnie Belliard, trying to lead the Dodgers back. He was hitting only .172 against left-handers, so he got well in a hurry with that one. So now Reed Johnson, who has always hit left-handers hard, this year he's hitting .333, so his overall batting average .292, 6 RBIs. So with this lineup, the Dodgers are a better team where they can play Johnson against a left-hander, and he punches one backhanded, a diving stop by Euclid, who throws to Dubron, who can't handle it, and scoring on the play is Belliard. The ball also went into the Red Sox dugout, so that means Reed Johnson will be going to second base as Belliard brings it in. So it was a great stop by Euclid, and then his feed to Dubron was dropped, probably 1-1. But one way or the other, the Dodgers wind up getting a run. Not sure. We're waiting to see whether they give Euclid the error or the pitcher for not gloving it, and the pitcher will get the error. So give Johnson a base hit. That advances Belliard to third. He scores on the error charge to Dubron. And it's now 3-1. No RBI, of course. Jamie Carroll will now try to pick up Johnson, and the Red Sox lead 3-1. So the Dodgers get an early break, not only picking up one, but getting someone in scoring position. Now Carroll, Kemp, and Martin trying to move him around. For the Red Sox, that would be the 38th error. They're playing in their 69th game. Left-handed Dubron set at the belt, comes to the plate. Carroll pushes the bunt. Euclid looks at third, but his only play is to first. Pedroia handling it. So Carroll sacrifices Johnson over to third, and Matt Kemp will be coming up. Dodgers down 3-1 with a runner at third and one out. So Jamie Carroll does his job, and isn't that the truth all year long? That's all we've seen. Carroll with his first sacrifice, but since they had him batting ninth, Torrey went for the run. So Reed Johnson standing at third, one out, the infield back. They'll give up the run. And Matt Kemp, who struck out in the first inning, trying to pick him up. Dubron out of a stretch. The left-hander deals, and it's fouled off, and the count 0-1. For Matt Kemp, 11 home runs, 35 runs batted in. But of course, where he normally hits in the lineup, he has so many opportunities. He should have more than 35 RBIs, but he is struggling. Hitting .254 against left-hand pitching. 3-1 Red Sox. Third inning. Dubron set at the belt. Felix deals, fastball pull foul outside of third. So once again, Matt Kemp is in a hole, and it looks like when a guy is struggling, he inherits a no ball, 2-strike count. For Kemp, that's bad news because he's already struck out 75 times. So 0-2 the count to Kemp. Dubron trying to put him away and keep a runner at third. Young left-hander set, and the pitch to Kemp swung on and fouled away, and the count remains 0-2. We told you that Steven Strasburg is pitching against the White Sox. White Sox lead 1-0 in the third inning. In the first two innings, among other things, Strasburg struck out 3. No balls and 2 strikes. Dubron again set. The left-hander taking plenty of time, comes to his hitter, swung on a high fly ball to center. Cameron with the ball over his head going back. That's going to bounce up against the wall, and Kemp is not about to stop at second. The relay not in time. He's safely into third, and it is now 3-2 in favor of the Red Sox as Matt Kemp comes up with his 4th triple of the year, scoring Reed Johnson. So Matt Kemp exploding. And now John Farrell, the pitching coach for the Red Sox, making his way out to the mound. The young Dubron suddenly being pushed around, just as Monasterios in the first inning. Fun to watch Matt Kemp let out, and he really did, going head first into third base long before the throw arrived. So now the Dodgers, with one out, have the tying run at third. What was a 3-0 Red Sox lead is now 3-2, and the batter is Russell Martin. So Martin trying to get Kemp home. By the way, Matt Kemp has scored 48 runs and is in position to score another. For Martin trying to pick up another RBI, he has 15. Martin grounded out in the first inning. Dubront delivers, and it's swung on and missed. 0-1. Martin 3 for 10 in Cincinnati and 0 for 1 tonight. Red Sox 3, Dodgers 2, top of the third. Dubront set. Young left-hander just called up, delivers and misses low and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Big opportunity, of course, for Dubront. Only 23 years old. Left-hander set. Looks over his shoulder to see where Kemp is. Martin, a ground ball to the right side. Pedroia can't go to the plate. Has to go to first. Scoring is Kemp, and the Dodgers have tied it up. So Billiard, Johnson, and now Kemp come home. And we have a 3-3 tie for Martin. Ground ball the other way. Picks up the run batted in. And the batter is Andre Ethier, who grounded to third in the first inning. So Kemp gets 5s in the dugout. And Ethier not quite ready to check in. Andre was 4 for 14 in the Cincinnati series. He takes off the plate, ball 1. Hitting .342 against right-handers and .325 against left-handers. With his 12 home runs, 1 hit against a left-hander. And the pitch to Andre, he holds up, takes the strike. 1-1. And waiting on deck, although almost unnoticed for the moment now that the ball game is well underway, Manny Ramirez. 1-1 the count to Andre Ethier. Dubront back off speed and high. So the count goes to 2-1. Red Sox on home runs by Ortiz and Drew led 3-0. Dodgers have come back with 3 of their own. Now the 2-1 pitch on the way. Ethier takes ball 3. The error on the play at first sets up the inning. Otherwise, Martin's ground ball would have been the last out, and the Dodgers would have come up short. Instead, because of the pitcher unable to handle Euclid's throw, the Dodgers have tied it up. And now Ethier, a line drive, but Mike Cameron comes on, tries to make the catch and can't do it. And Ethier holds on at first base. Well, you expect Cameron to make that catch with 3 gold gloves, and he got his glove on the ball and just either misjudged it or whatever. It'll be an error. And here comes Manny.
Designated hitter number 99, Manny Ramirez.
So Manny Ramirez coming up. Mike Cameron committing his second error since coming to the Red Sox. And the Dodgers with a chance to actually take a lead. Now Manny swung at the first pitch in the second inning, leading off. Let's see what he does on the first pitch now. Out of a stretch goes Dubront. The left-hander delivers. Manny swings, lines it into right field, and speared on the run by J.D. Drew, who might have hurt his right ankle a little bit. Boy, what a nice play on a sinking line drive to right. And at the end of 2.5 innings, a 3-3 tie. .3-3 tie, and a fine play by J.D. Drew on that line drive by Manny Ramirez. The one thing you could tell up here is that J.D. Drew hurt himself. He hopped on his left foot, so he did something to his right foot or ankle as he ran off the field. He then suddenly stopped running and actually walked into the dugout, so we'll see if Drew is all right. Meanwhile, 3-3, and it'll be Dustin Pedroia, then David Ortiz, and Kevin Euclid. Pedroia at 5'8", 160, a truly remarkable little player with quotes around the word little. He takes the strike and the count 0-1. Pedroia, 5'8", 180, out of Woodland, California. Went to school at Arizona State. Very good friends with Andre Ethier. The pitch off the plate. Woodland is about 20 miles northwest of Sacramento, Yolo County. First came to the Red Sox in 2006. He was a second-round pick. He hits a hopper to the left as shortstop. Jamie Carroll stays with it and throws him out. One away in the third inning, and David Ortiz coming up. Big Papi, as they call him here, and he is certainly big enough to be called that. David hit one to the 420 sign for his 15th home run. I mean, that is a way out. And for Ortiz, he now ties Manny Ramirez in 5th place for home runs as a member of the Red Sox. Check swing on the first pitch, and it's called a strike, and the count 0-1. So one away, bottom of the third, and a 3-3 tie. David Ortiz from Haina in the Dominican Republic, 6'4", 230, checks in at 35 come November. The strike one pitch on the way is up and in, 1-1. Manny Ramirez now tied 5th place home runs on the Red Sox list with his close buddy. And the 1-1 pitch on the way. Ortiz holds up on a strike. Ortiz has 14 doubles this year, which is not usually his story. Going into this season, he had the highest double percentage of all players with 5,000 or more plate appearances. Over 26% of all of his hits were doubles. The 1-2 pitch is up and in. 2-2 the count to David Ortiz. Among other things, he is second in the American League in pitches per plate appearance. And as we mentioned, you give him a 3-1 count, look out. That's when he hit his home run. David swings, lashes one foul outside of first and down the line. Ron Johnson coaching at first. Tim Bogar over at third for Terry Francona. Of course, Terry Francona's father, Tito Francona, played double-figure years in Major League Baseball, but Terry is always called after his dad. Everybody calls him Tito. 2-2 the count to Ortiz. And the next pitch in the dirt, ball 3. I love the story about Terry Francona, who was a terrific guy. Chip off the old block. His father was great. But when Terry was in high school, he was a very good golfer. He still is to this day. And he won a golf tournament setting a high school record. And they were going to give a trophy. And he said, well, whose record was it? And they said, well, it was so-and-so's, a kid 2 years ago who was killed in an automobile accident. And Terry said, never mind, leave his name on the trophy. The pitch is outside, and Big Papi draws the walk. So Ortiz goes to first, and that'll bring up Kevin Youkilis with a runner at first, one away, bottom of the third in a 3-3 tie. Last year, Youkilis hit .309 with a half a dozen home runs against left-handers, 21 home runs, and .304 against right-handers. Down in the bullpen, I'd make it McDonald, the outfielder, is out on deck. So apparently J.G. Drew has hurt himself and might not be able to continue. Darnell McDonald out in the on-deck circle. Fastball and a towering fly ball. Reed Johnson goes back at the base of the scoreboard and makes the catch for the out. And back to first base goes Ortiz. So we thought that Drew might have hurt himself, and sure enough, he is unable to answer the bell after making a fine running catch on that line drive that was hit by Manny Ramirez. So here's the announcement now on Darnell as he checks in. 3-3. with David Ortiz at first base in this 3-3 tie, 2 out, and Darnell McDonald checking in. Right-hand batter has a look at the first pitch, pays a strike for the privilege. He's from Fort Collins, Colorado, lives over in Arizona, and went to Cherry Creek High School. He was a #1 pick by the Baltimore Orioles. It just didn't work out for him. Strike one, pitch on the way. McDonald whacks it down the left field line. Here comes Reed Johnson to play it on a hop. Ortiz stops at second, and McDonald a single left to keep the inning alive. And the batter will be Adrian Beltre. Adrian Beltre lined out in the first inning for the last out, and he hit that ball right on the button. The Red Sox have a couple of guys on the DL with broken ribs, Ellsbury and Hermida, and both men suffered broken ribs in collisions with Adrian Beltre. In fact, each man had 5 broken ribs. As Beltre went out on pop flies, the outfielders came in. A throw down to first base, but not in time to get McDonald. So Adrian Beltre in and out of the box for the minute. 1 ball and no strikes. You think of Beltre as a hitter, but he is also one of the outstanding fielding third basemen. In fact, he won Gold Gloves in 07 and again 08. And for the last 25 games has been swinging the bat very well. The 1-0 pitch, low and away, ball 2, 2-0. Interesting too, when he's behind in the count, when the count is no balls, 2 strikes, he's hitting .450. He's hitting just under .400 with 2 out. So here he is with 2 on, 2 out, 3-3, bottom of the third. Adrian also with a 7-game hitting streak. Right-hander Monasterios delivers and gets the breaking ball in for a strike, 2-1. Of course, one other thing for Adrian Beltre, he hits into a lot of double plays. He is grounded into 13. 2-1 the count to the Red Sox third baseman. Beltre waiting, 2 on, 2 out. Fastball is lined into right field, base hit. Ethier comes up with it, and they're going to have to hold Ortiz on a good throw to the plate. But the Red Sox have loaded the bases, and Beltre is now hit safely in 8 straight. So Monasterios pitching a very shaky 3 innings, but he is even, and Jason Varitek will be coming up. So Varitek, the switch hitting catcher, with the bases loaded and a chance to break it open a bit. He has 3 grand slams. However, he does not hit well in bases loaded situations. Average only .215. But with the 3 slams, that gets your attention. He singled up the middle despite a good play by Belliard in the second inning. So Ortiz, McDonald, and Beltre are all out there with 2 down in a 3-3 tie. Here comes Monasterios, and he misses with a fastball. Ball 1, 1-0. Monasterios had made only 29 pitches in the first 2 innings, but he is struggling here now. Carlos straightens up, and the 1-0 pitch on the way, and that's a strike, and they count 1-1. Varitek gives you a nice strike zone. He's 6'2" and about 230. Big man on the campus of Georgia Tech. He won the Golden Spikes Award a long time ago. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way, swung on, a high fly ball to right field. Ethier coming in and over to the left and makes the catch for the out. So no runs, 2 hits, 3 left, and at the end of 3, a 3-3 tie. Well, that was for the benefit of those of you just coming home from work who might have missed the debut of the Dodgers' Manny Ramirez here in the Back Bay area of Boston. So Ramirez so far is 0 for 2, fly to center, and then lost a base hit. A line drive to right field. J.D. Drew made a great running catch, but he hurt his right foot or ankle or leg, and he's been replaced by Darnell McDonald, who's out there in right field now. For the Dodgers, Casey Blake, James Loney, and then Ronnie Belliard. Ball one. Blake 0 for 1 tonight, 6 for 12 on this road trip. This is game 1 of the 3-game series here. Pop that up on the infield, and it's Pedroia. So Blake, big league pop-up as they call him in batting practice, 1 away. And the batter will be James Loney, who fouled out to Adrian Beltre in the 2nd inning. One of the things in looking at the Red Sox last year, if you get a base runner on against the Red Sox, the chances of stealing are very, very good. Last year, the Red Sox allowed, hold your breath, 151 stolen bases while throwing out only 23. And that's going to be hitting the air to right field. McDonald is at the other end of it. And just like that, we have 2 down. You know, a reminder to stay tuned for tonight's Dodgers Live post-game show, when you can watch the Dodgers' favorite replay moment, voted on by you, the fans. So 2 out, and Ronnie Belliard, who started off the 3rd inning uprise with a long double, and the Dodgers went on to tie it up. Right. 0-1 the count. One and one. And talking about last year, the worst stolen base percentage allowed by an American League team, that's almost 87% of the base runners were successful. The worst in the history of the American League. The only other major league team ever to do that, the 2007 San Diego Padres. So for Victor Martinez and for Jason Varitek, not to mention what it did for the insides of Terry Francona. Way out in front is Belliard, 2-2 the count. Well, this year, so far, 82 attempts against the Red Sox, 72 of the 82 successful. So you can still run on Boston. 2-2. Fenway Park in Boston, and what a marvelous franchise down through the years. You think about people like Ted Williams, Bobby Doerr, Johnny Pesky, Carl Yastrzemski, Jim Rice, you name it. If you followed baseball, you certainly know about Fenway. 2-2. A drive to right, McDonald right there, and that's the inning. So 1-2-3, and at the end of 3.5 innings, a 3-3 tie. We have a 3-3 tie. The crowd applauding in the background. They recognize on the TV screen the presence of the great catcher Carlton Fisk, and of course that brings back memories of the 1976 World Series here. Meanwhile, there is Carlton Fisk visiting with people. The great story, I first heard it from Rob Menchel, who's our director, lighting director, home plate, cameraman, you name it, all rolled into one. I'm sure you have seen 100 times Carlton Fisk hitting a home run against Cincinnati down the left field line that went out, and the body English that Carlton Fisk was putting on it as he was leaving home plate. The true story behind it all, and that's a famous shot. And now watch Fisk. See, he's starting to come on. Stay fair, stay fair. Great shot. Okay, but how come they got that shot? Fly ball down the right field line. Ethier having to come a long way and makes the catch to retire Cameron. Anyway, the cameraman in the scoreboard was supposed to follow the flight of the ball, and just as Fisk hit it, he was attacked by a rat. No fooling. And so the camera stayed on Fisk, and they had the great shot. Another great shot coming up right now in the memory bank of a young fella by the name of Daniel Nava, and it occurred Saturday. The first pitch he ever saw in the big leagues, he hit a pinch hit grand slam home run. And you could write a book on Daniel Nava, a guy they never thought would make it to the big leagues. And there he is, one pitch taking a curtain call. His first at bat tonight, he flied to left. He's 5'10", 210. He's from Redwood City, lives in Los Altos, and was a free agent signed out of the Golden League. But there's so much more to him than just that. For instance, he was a walk-on at Santa Clara, and they cut him as a freshman. They suggested he had a future in coaching. So for 2 years, he did laundry while serving as the team manager and observing the games. 1-2. Then he got tired of doing the laundry. He went to junior college and hit .430. Well, that convinced Santa Clara, well, wait a minute, maybe we ought to give him an opportunity. But he still wasn't drafted. So he turned to the Chico Outlaws. And he was playing in that league when he was found and signed by the Red Sox. And that's the kid who hit the first pitch he ever saw in the big leagues for a grand slam home run. Fouled away. Still 1-2 to Daniel Nava, N-A-V-A, 27 years old. Only the second player to ever do that. He hit it against Joe Blanton in the second inning. The other fellow who did it, Kevin Kuzminoff, who played in San Diego for a while, but before he got to San Diego, Kevin played for Cleveland, and the first pitch he saw, he's hit for a slam in 2006 against Texas. So Nava has some company, but not much. 1-2 in the dirt. Montesterios has now made 64 pitches. Three runs, 6 hits for the Red Sox. Fouled away. On the scoreboard, it says 3 runs on 2 hits. Well, we want to double check. Remember that ball that was smothered by Euclid, and then he fed the pitcher and it was dropped at the time. We thought it was 1-1, a hit and an error. Maybe not. Maybe it was just an error. And that's what it's going to be. So the Dodger 2 hits, Belliard a double and Kemp a triple. And meanwhile, brought down to earth is Nava as he strikes out. And by the way, going into this game, he was 8 for 18. So with 2 out, Marco Scutaro coming up. The breaking ball makes him drop to one knee. The way J.D. Drew hopped on his left foot, we thought he hurt his right foot. It turned out to be a right hamstring that got him. So J.D. Drew sidelined with a hamstring. They have already lost Ellsbury and Hamidia. And now Drew. 3-3. Bottom of the 4th. Fastball popped up. Martin and Loney. Loney has the call. Loney has the ball. So a 1-2-3 inning, and at the end of 4, a 3-3 tie. Dodger Baseball on Prime Ticket is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Go to Jack in the Box to get a Soccer Jack antenna ball for only $1 plus tax. And by your Southern California Ford dealers, where you'll find the new Transit Connect. Check it out at scforddealers.com. We go to the fifth inning here in Boston on a beautiful summer's night. It was 86 degrees when the game started. And it'll be Reed Johnson, followed by Carroll and Kemp. We mentioned earlier that since the 9th of May, the Dodgers are 25-11, and the Red Sox are 25-12, and for good reason. Basically, it's all about pitching. That's a strike, 0-1. For the Dodgers, up till the 8th of May, the earned run average of the staff was over 5. Since then, 3.2. And the same can be said about the Red Sox starting rotation. Fouled away. By the 17th of May, Red Sox rotation earned run average 5.1, but since then 3.2. So they've improved dramatically. And both staffs, the Dodgers and the Red Sox, have pitched better on the road than at home. 0-2 the count. Reed Johnson reached on the error in the third inning. 1-2 the count. Felix Doubront making his big league debut. One and two. High bouncer over the mound behind second, speared nicely there by Scutaro, but it's not in time. Johnson legs it out, and Reed 1 for 2. So Scutaro did everything he'd asked, but couldn't get him. So the Dodgers now 3 runs, 3 hits. The Red Sox 3 runs, 6 hits, and the batter Jamie Carroll, who sacrificed in the third inning. Red Sox have a great record in interleague play since 2005. Red Sox going into this game 69-30. Dodgers having just been swept by the Angels, so they've lost 8 of the last 11. And a strike to Jamie. Carroll hitting .269. Jamie sacrificed in the third inning. Playing shortstop for Rafael Furcal. Don't know very much about it, but apparently Rafael's father in a bad condition, so Rafael went home on bereavement list. 0-2 the count to Jamie Carroll. We're in the fifth inning in a 3-3 tie. Baltimore is at San Diego, but they haven't started yet. 0-2. One and two. Felix Doubront, D-O-U-B-R-O-N-T. Just called up. Of course, they had him all spring, so they know he's capable of doing a good job. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fastball popped in the air right side. Youkilis and Pedroia is there. So 1 away, and the batter will be Matt Kemp. So Carroll unable to move a man, and it's up to Kemp, who has struck out and tripled. Kemp tripled in both Belliard and Johnson, and then he came home as Martin grounded out. 3-3, 1 out. We're in the top of the fifth inning, game 1 of the 3-game series. Little breaking ball in for a strike. 0-1. Took a lot off that pitch. No balls and 1 strike. DeBrant doing well, throwing a lot of strikes. Almost 70% of his pitches. Fastball lifted to right center. Moving over is Cameron and McDonald. And it's McDonald. Tagging but holding is Reed Johnson. And we have 2 out here in the 5th inning with Martin coming up. You know, the Dodgers opening day outfield comes to life this season. A series of collectible action figures. The next giveaway game Thursday, July 8th. The first 15,000 kids 14 and under receive their own Captain Clutch, presented by Claim Jumper Restaurants. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com or call 866-DODGERS. Russell Martin, 2 ground balls to the right side. The second one picked up a run. Johnson off the bag at first, draws a throw and gets back. Reed Johnson doesn't play a lot, so he doesn't run a lot. He's 1 for 2 in stolen bases. But with Martin up there, if he's gone, it'll certainly be part of a hit and run play. And it's a pretty good gamble to run him. If you make out, you have Martin leading off the next inning. And a strike. 0-1. Martin hitting .259. Off the plate, 1-1. Dodgers 3, Red Sox 3. If you joined us late, David Ortiz hit a 3-1 pitch for a home run with Pedroia aboard. With 2 out, J.D. Drew hit a home run. That made it 3-0. But the Dodgers came back. Belliard doubled. There was an error by the pitcher, a triple by Kemp, and a ground ball got him home, and the Dodgers tied it up. Check swing at the plate, but it's a strike. 1-2 the count to Russell Martin. Martin twice grounding to Dustin Pedroia. Game 2 tomorrow, and that'll be Vicente Padilla. He has come back off the DL, and he will go up against the knuckleballer Tim Wakefield. Throw to first, no action there. Then Sunday's game, Hiroki Kuroda and Clay Buchholz. Dodgers then will be off on Monday and play in Anaheim Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Next weekend they'll host the Yankees starting Friday night. One ball and 2 strikes the count to Russell Martin. Johnson held on by Euclid. Two and 2 the count. Martin has only struck out 36 times while walking 29. So, of course, he's a good man you can use and put a play on with him for sure. 2-2. Johnson not going, but he will be going now. 3-2 the count. And, of course, waiting on deck, hitting in the number 3 slot, Andre Ethier. Ethier has grounded to third and reached on the error charge to Cameron. So Johnson ready to go. DeBrant looking over at him. He goes, ball 4. So the Dodgers now have runners at first and second with 2 out. Andre Ethier coming up. with a chance to break the tie, and on deck, Manny Ramirez. The pitch count, as you can see, beginning to pile up a little bit. 65 pitches. Andre Ethier grounded to third, hit that sinking fly ball to center that went right on through Mike Cameron for an error. So 2 on, 2 out, 3-3 in the fifth, 0-1 the count. Dodgers 1 for 3 with runners in scoring position, and an opportunity now to get out in front for the first time tonight. Ethier, 12 home runs, 43 runs batted in. 0-1. 0-2. For DuBrant, he struck out Matt Kemp opening up the game and does not have another strikeout, but he's going right after Ethier. No balls, 2 strikes. Andre hitting .335. Fouled away. That'll carry upstairs. Back in 1989 is when they added the top section of Fenway Park. Before that, you had the lower deck and then just one level above. And then in '89 they modernized it, accompanying a lot of people upstairs. Ethier pulls it foul by Duncan, and the count remains no balls and 2 strikes. Ethier has had a good deal of success against left-hand pitching. He has struck out a total of 27 times against all pitching, and he's hit well over 300 both left and right. 0-2. Got him. So Ethier strikes out. Dodgers lead 2, and at the end of 4.5, a 3-3 tie. Dodgers and the Red Sox all tied 3-3. Dodgers leaving 2 men on in the 5th inning, but the power came right at the outset. 3 balls and 1 strike, and David Ortiz hits his 15th home run. That would tie Manny Ramirez for 5th place on Red Sox home run history. J.D. Dree then hit the top of the fence. At first he thought it was a double, but it was ruled a home run, and Drew continued in, but then hurt himself and had to leave the game later on. So with all of that, 3-3 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Pedroia, Ortiz, and Euclid in that order. David Pedroia, we mentioned earlier, a very good pal of Andre Ethier. In fact, the families went on vacation together. Pedroia went to Arizona State, as did Andre, and 1 ball and no strikes. So one good buddy playing against the other. Pedroia hitting .272. Ground ball, base hit into left field. You know, the amazing thing about Pedroia, I mean, he is a very good player, but he's even better in interleague play than he does on an everyday basis. He came into this game hitting .348 against the National League, and he's 2 for 3 tonight. So that means Monasterio will have to look at David Ortiz again. Nobody out. 3 runs, 7 hits for the Red Sox. The Dodgers 3 runs, 3 hits. Pedroia has had back-to-back years where he has stolen 20. Check swing. They look at third, no swing. And the Dodgers again load him up. They really commit. In fact, Jamie Carroll wants to make sure he's in the right spot at shortstop, and he double checked. with the bench. So Big Ortiz has hit in 7 straight. He has a home run and a walk. Hitting .269. There goes the runner, and it's fouled away. So we told you before, the Red Sox don't usually steal bases, but they were running Pedroia because he's been very successful each of the last 2 years. Pedroia did not know the pitch was fouled away. He thought it got away, so he decided to keep on going. And then he was informed, no, go on back to first. So Pedroia back, and Ortiz still up there, 1 ball and 1 strike. Pedroia at 5'8", maybe 180. In 07, when Pedroia was a regular, he stole 7 bases, but then he stole 20 in 08, 20 in 09. So they have to watch him. 1 ball and 1 strike to David Ortiz. Straightens him up. Pedroia over at first has stolen 6 out of 7. So young Monasterio has his hands full with a good runner at first and a power hitter at the plate. Combination produced 2 runs in a hurry when Ortiz hit it out. 2-1. Looked like an attempt at a changeup, but nothing really happened with it. 3-1 the count. Now that's the identical count when Ortiz hit his home run, and we told you the numbers don't lie. The Red Sox love to attack the 2-0 pitch and the 3-1 pitch. So when it was 3-1, Ortiz homered. When it was 2-0, Drew homered. Big pitch for Monasterios. Runner goes, check swing foul, and 3-2. Red Sox came in here second in the American League in scoring runs. Though with 90 home runs, they are a power plant here. And remember, they're doing well for Terry Francona now. They were pretty sluggish at the start of the year. They're still first in pitches seen. So 3-2 the count to Ortiz. Pedroia was going the last time. He goes again. And it is ball 4. So they throw down to second needlessly. I guess Martin never heard the call from Ted Barrett. So Ortiz draws the walk, and the Dodgers are in a little trouble now. First and second, nobody out. Euclid, McDonald, and Beltre coming up in that order. So Ortiz, after that monstrous home run in the first inning, has walked twice. And Euclid, who struck out, fly to left, checking in. (3-3) bottom of the 5th inning. Euclid's hitting .310. Now Rick Honeycutt is going out to the mound, so we have a minute. We can talk a little bit about Kevin Euclid. Among other things, in his last 6 years in the major leagues, Kevin Euclid has improved each year. And what's so interesting, he's a first baseman. And for the Red Sox, the big question, who would you say was the best first baseman they've ever had here? Well, you know, Euclid has finished 3rd and 6th in the MVP voting. Of course, that doesn't make him the best, but after they went through all kinds of stats over the last 109 years, they've had first basemen like Jimmy Fox and Mo Vaughn, who have been named MVP. And first base here has been manned for a total of 13 years by players now in the Hall of Fame. Jimmy Fox, Carl Yastrzemski, and Tony Perez. So here's Youkilis trying to fit in. And a strike. 0-1. Kevin struck out in the first inning, fly to left in the third. 3-3, bottom of the fifth. Youkilis out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Fastball whacked foul down the line. 0-2. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Ramon Troncoso begins to loosen up. Monasterios had made 60 pitches in the first 4 innings, and Troncoso throwing back of him. Youkilis waiting. 0-2. Fastball high and away. In looking at the numbers that Youkilis brings up to the plate, he is one of those rare hitters. He has power. He has 13 home runs, but he is rare in the sense he has walked far more than he has struck out. 47 walks, only 37 strikeouts. So he has Pedroia and Ortiz out there. 1-2. And that's going to be hit into right center. Here comes Kemp. Dives. Can't get it. It's backed up in right field by Ethier. 1 run will score on the double with Ortiz going to third, and the Red Sox lead 4-3. So a long double despite the great effort by Matt Kemp. It was backed up by Andre Ethier. And for Joe Torre with a hook in his pocket. And the batter now will be Darnell McDonald. And here comes Joe, and that's going to do it for Monasterios. So Monasterios gives up the double. Scoring is Pedroia. Going to third is Ortiz. And Torre going out to lift Monasterios and bring in Ramon Troncoso. So we will be back. Dodger Baseball on Prime Ticket is brought to you by CarMax. Now more than ever, the smart choice is CarMax. By Toyota. Get a great deal on Toyota's full line of hybrid and fuel-efficient vehicles at your Toyota dealers today. And by Corona. Well, so far the Red Sox jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the first inning. The Dodgers scrambled back for 3 to tie it up. They have run out of zeros, obviously, in Boston for the top of the 5th inning, but the Red Sox have scored to take a 4-3 lead. Darnell McDonald will be coming up. He is now hitting, as you know if you've been with us. Darnell took over for the injured J.D. Drew. So Monasterios calls it a night, and Ramon Troncoso steps in. McDonald, a tremendous football star in high school, rushed for over 6,000 yards. He led his high school team 3 straight Colorado State championships. In fact, in the championship game of '96, he rushed for 330 yards and 5 touchdowns. He was going to play both football and baseball at Texas. The Orioles signed him for almost $2 million as a first-round pick. Darnell McDonald. And he whacks it into center. That's going to be good for 1. And then when the ball is bobbled by Matt Kemp, it's good for 2. And it is 6-3 Red Sox. Kemp was trying to do or die kind of a play, charge the ball and get off a throw. And interestingly enough, they had stopped Youkilis at third. So when Matt scooped and then had the ball juggle and fly out, while Youkilis also scored. So McDonald is 2 for 2 since taking over for J.D. Drew. It'll be a base hit and RBI. The second run scored only on the error charge against Matt Kemp. So Troncoso gives up the hit, and the runs are charged to Monasterios. We can close the book now. Monasterios 4 innings plus, 6 runs, 8 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and Troncoso giving up a hit. 6-3 Boston. And the batter is Adrian Beltre, and that's a strike. 0-1 the count. Beltre has been a very solid hitter since the middle of May. All Beltre has done is hit .383, so he has averaged up now to .339 for the year. So in the inning, Pedroia single to left, Ortiz walked. Euclid doubled in Pedroia, with Ortiz stopping at third and then scoring on the error. And then McDonald a base hit. There goes the runner easily. A big jump. Troncoso forgot all about McDonald, who steals second. So for the Dodgers, an embarrassing inning thus far. But we're only in the 5th inning. Beltre lined to short, single to right. 1 ball, 1 strike. Check for ball 2, 2-1. Beltre trying to pick up his man McDonald from second base. And a high drive into deep left field. That's a way out and gone. And it is 8-3 in favor of Boston. So the Red Sox 8 runs on 10 hits. And boy, Beltre swinging from the heels, wound up down on his right knee watching the ball go out. Then he just got up and trotted around the base paths, and there was no doubt about that thing clearing the monster up through the light towers and out into the street. 1-0 the count to Jason Varitek. So Adrian Beltre hits a bomb, and for Beltre his 10th home run, 48 runs batted in. Slicing drive into left center. Kemp converging with Johnson, and the ball lands between them, and into second base sliding with a double goes Varitek. So it looked like they might have had a chance on that ball, but they came up empty. By the way, that home run by Beltre, another 18,000 raised to support prostate cancer research. You can make a donation, call 800-798-CURE, or go online, pcf.org. So with 3 home runs so far by the Red Sox, that's $54,000, right? All for prostate cancer cure. So here's Mike Cameron, but before Cameron can check in, Rick Honeycutt has gone to the mound to talk to Troncoso. In the inning, Pedroia single to left, Ortiz walked, Euclid doubled to score Pedroia. McDonald singled to score Ortiz. Euclid stopped at third, and when the ball got away from Matt Kemp, he scored. Travis Schickling down in the bullpen warming up as Honeycutt counsels Ramon Troncoso. Then Beltre hits one out of sight, followed by Varitek's double. So the Dodgers have given up 3 home runs and 2 doubles. So Torrey's team really pushed around here as Joe and Don Mattingly draped on the railing, anxiously watching Troncoso. So John Eli was ripped in Cincinnati. Carlos Monasterios pushed around here tonight, and the Dodgers are not sure what they're going to get when Vicente Padilla goes to the mound tomorrow. 1 ball and no strikes the count to Mike Cameron. Cameron flied to left, flied to right, 0 for 2. Big bouncer to the hole by the diving Carroll. Over to third goes Varitek on the single to left by Cameron. And the hit parade continues. Of course, now what Joe Torre has to do is be very careful about the use of his bullpen. And the batter now will be Daniel Nava, who will be the 8th man to come to the plate. Honeycutt talking to Joe briefly. Nava flied to left and struck out. Coming into the game, he was 8 for 18. So 8 for 20. That's going to get away from Martin, and Cameron easily goes down to second. Of course, what is really painful for the Dodgers, Red Sox have hung a high 5 in the 5th inning, but there's nobody out. So Daniel Nava standing at the plate, Martin out to talk to Troncoso. And a rather humiliating performance by the Dodgers and for the Dodgers here at Fenway Park. Told you the last time the Dodgers were here in 04, they lost 2 out of 3. The last time the Red Sox came to Dodger Stadium, the Dodgers swept. So here is Nava with runners at second and third. First base open, fouled away. Eight runs on 12 hits for the Red Sox. One ball and one strike. Fouled away. So far in the inning, there have been 3 singles, a walk, a stolen base, 2 doubles, a home run, and a passed ball. Put it all together, it's a 5-run inning and an 8-3 drubbing so far for the Dodgers. Nava with Scutaro on deck. In the dirt, blocked by Martin. 2-2. Last year, the Red Sox scored 136 runs after there were 2 out and nobody on, the most of any major league team. That's almost a run a game with 2 out and nobody on. The direct opposite, well, the New York Mets scored 56. Well, here they are with nobody out, and they have 5 up on the boards. 2-2. And did that hit him? It sure did. So Nava hit by the pitch. We're going to see it all here. And the bases are loaded. Scutaro, Pedroia, and Ortiz, and that forces Joe Torre to come up out of the dugout as Nava's hit on the leg. So the bases are loaded with nobody out. Troncoso, who pitched so well so often early in the year, will now give way to Travis Schlichting, who has just been called up. And Ramon somewhat downcast as he leaves the field. And we'll be back. Dodger Baseball on Prime Ticket is brought to you by 76 Gasoline. We're on the driver's side. The Dodgers being pushed around here at Fenway Park. A 5-run 5th inning. So a high 5-5 for Boston. And now threatening to tear the game apart, leading 6-3. Then it became 8-3. And with the bases loaded and nobody out, Marco Scutaro facing Travis Schlichting, who was just called up Wednesday. It'll be his third game. Schlichting out of Denver, Colorado, bouncing back from Dodger Stadium to Albuquerque and now back again. Although it could be that he'll go back out again when Vicente Padilla is ready. So Scutaro is up there with the bases loaded, nobody out, and the pitch to the backstop, but the runners hold on. 1 ball and no strikes. You know, just thinking, we're high up here looking down on the field, and there's not much room from home plate to the backstop, so the runners never had a chance. And I was thinking, in the old days at Forbes Field in Pittsburgh, from home plate to the backstop was 120 feet. You could have scored everybody on the bases if you threw one away. 1 ball and no strikes. Varitek, Cameron, and Nava all out there. 2-0 the count. Travis Schlichting earned his first major league victory the 2nd of June. He went 4 scoreless innings against Arizona. That was also a career high. Recall Wednesday before that he was recalled on May 31st and went back down on June the 3rd. Fastball, slow roller into the hole. Carroll goes to second for a force play, and 1 run scores. So Varitek comes home on the force play. Cameron goes to third. Nava is cut down. And safely aboard is Scutaro, picking up a run batted in for his efforts. So here is Dustin Pedroia. It is now a 6-run 5th inning. And Pedroia trying to add to that. So he's out of sight with the bat against the National League, and he's continued that, going 2 for 3 tonight. So it's a 6-run 5th. And that's ball 1. One ball and no strikes. And a high fly ball to center. Kemp has a play, but tagging up easily is Cameron. He will come home, tagging up at second and moving over to Scutaro. It's a 7-run inning. That makes it 10-3 in favor of the Red Sox. And for Pedroia, even when they get him, he picks up a run batted in. So it's been a nightmare inning, a 7-run inning. That run is charged to Troncoso. And it is 10-3 in favor of the Red Sox. Most runs in an inning, 7. And it was also done against the Angels. So the Dodgers and the Angels have something in common here. And of course, the Dodgers and Angels will meet Tuesday night in Anaheim. In that game, the Red Sox scored 17 runs against the Angels, 7 in 1 inning, and they had 20 hits in that game. Tonight, they have 10 runs, 12 hits. They've a 7-run inning, 2 down. They're walking Ortiz, and Euclid will be coming up with runners at first and second. 10 runs, 12 hits, 2 errors for the Red Sox, 3 runs, 3 hits, and an error for the Dodgers. You might hear what you think is a boo in the background, but what they do is take Kevin's name, Euclid, and they just emphasize the U. Every time I see his name, I think if he were playing against the Brooklyn Dodgers, or if he was playing for them and he was struggling, he would not be Euclid. He would be Euclid. Of course, he could be Euclid as far as the Dodgers are concerned before this weekend is over. He doubled the score in the 5th inning. Picked up Pedroia. Kevin hitting .313. Scored 1. On deck, Darnell McDonald. Fastball 1-2 the count. So the Red Sox scored 3 in the first. The Dodgers got 3 in the third. The Red Sox have come back with 7 to tear it wide open 10-3. And we're only in the 5th inning. Little foul ball. Red Sox have had home runs by Ortiz with a man aboard, Drew with nobody on, and Beltre with 1 aboard. Check swings off the plate. 2-2. Travis Schlichting came in to pitch to Scutaro, who hit into a force play. Then he got Pedroia on a scoring fly ball. And there it is, strike 3 called to Euclid, but not before the Red Sox, for the second time against the Los Angeles team, score 7 and lead 10-3. On this day in 1947, Gil Hodges hit a home run against the Chicago Cubs. That was beginning of a magnificent career with the Dodgers. Hodges, among other things, had 100 RBIs 7 consecutive years. He had 20 or more home runs 11 consecutive years. And when he finally hung it up, he had 370 home runs in his career as a Dodger. Gil, as you know, eventually led the Miracle Mets to a World Championship. Let's go back to this one. Manny Ramirez not getting much of a response. The first time he was introduced, there was some feeling from the crowd. By now, there's almost indifference with the score 10-3. Manny has flied to center, lined out to right. J.D. Drew made a fine running catch, but had a hamstring pull and had to come out. Right. Oh, and 1. Manny with a great career here that led to 2 World Championships in 2004, 2007. Little foul ball. There they are. Testimony to some big years. Of course, 1986, that was the heartbreak year against the New York Mets. Mookie Wilson, Bill Buckner. 1-2. Manny hitting .291. Manny in Cincinnati was 4 for 9, had 5 RBIs and 2 home runs. 1-2. Manny had home runs in back-to-back games for the first time since April, when the Dodgers were in Cincinnati. 2-2. Even though he has not played that much, Manny has 8 game-winning RBIs this year. That leads the team. 2-2. Fastball, and that's going to be hit into center. A base hit. Now he gets some boos following the hit. Manny having fun with Kevin Euclid. Sixth inning, 10-3 Boston. Right. Boston Tea Party, they're teeing off on the Dodgers. 10 runs, 12 hits, 3 home runs, couple of doubles. 0-1. And a drive to center. Cameron going back to the track. He's going to have to play it off the wall. And in a moment, the Dodgers will have runners at second and third. Casey Blake has always hit the ball well in his career over in the American League here. And he comes right back to prove the numbers are correct with a long double off the center field wall. His batting average in his career at Fenway Park prior to tonight, .339, and a slugging percentage of over .670. He has 5 home runs, 12 RBIs here at Fenway. Well, he goes 1 for 3 tonight with that long double. And the batter is James Loney. Second and third, nobody out. And line drive down the right field line. That's going to score 2. McDonald bobbles the ball, but Loney holds on. So suddenly it's 10-5 as the Dodgers try to dig out. And for James Loney, another clutch base hit to drive in 2. So DuBrant gives back 2 in a hurry. And down in the bullpen, Scott Atchison begins to loosen up. John Farrell, the pitching coach, out to the mound to talk. So Ramirez single, Blake doubled him to third, Loney singles both men home. It's 10 runs, 12 hits for the Red Sox. And the Dodgers trying to get back in the game with 3 consecutive hits here in the 6th inning. They now have a half a dozen hits. So the batter is Ronnie Belliard, who doubled, scored a run, and flied to right. 1 for 2. Reed Johnson on deck. James Loney with that base hit to drive in 2. Now has 45 runs batted in. One ball and no strikes. Belliard hitting .262. And then Reed Johnson followed by Jamie Carroll. Fenway is like Wrigley. No lead is a lock. There are no fat ladies ready to warm up no matter the score. That's ball 2. So you can back in a game in a hurry here. And the same with Wrigley. The 2 oldest ballparks in the major leagues. Fenway opened in 1912. Wrigley in 1914. And ball 3. So Felix DuBrant went the required 5, but he's very shaky here in the 6th. And for Tito, as they call Terry Francisco, an anxious moment for Francona. 3-0 the count. And ball 4. So that's it. So Francona making his way out to the mound. You know, when you talk about Francona making his way out to the mound, do you know that he's had 18 knee surgeries before he had a knee replaced? You talk about a manager making a painful walk to the mound. Meanwhile, they're going to give Felix Doubront a standing ovation. He gave them a good 5. We'll be back. The Red Sox lead the Dodgers 10-5, and a reminder tonight after Dodgers Live, a special encore airing of Koufax and Torrey, Safe at Home. Well, the Red Sox are wondering about being safe at home. Doubront has had the lead. He took the field leading 10-3. It's now 10-5. Dodgers have 2 on. Garrett Anderson is now going to hit for Reed Johnson against Scott Atchison out of Denton, Texas. And ball 1. 1-0 to Garrett Anderson. Garrett, 1 home run, 9 runs batted in, hitting .165. However, in his career at Fenway, he's done very, very well. .324 average here. And ball 2. Scott Atchison, 6'2", 200, 34 years old, a Denton dandy. Denton, Texas, the home of Miss America, Phyllis George. Pitched in Japan in 08 and 09. That's a strike. Pitch for the Hanshin Tigers. He made his first career start against the Phils when Daisuke Matsuzaka was scratched, and he went 3 innings. Fastball pulled foul. 2-1 to count to Garrett Anderson. Dodgers have had 2 singles, a double, and a walk. They've scored 2. Loney is now at second, Belliard at first, and Anderson trying to move them along. Pickoff play, not in time. Scutaro trying to duck in behind Loney. Marco Scutaro, another Scooter. Who was the other Scooter? Sure, Phil Rizzuto with the Yankees. 2-2. Got him. So down goes Anderson. The runners hold. Jamie Carroll will be coming up. Slow breaking ball. And Garrett goes down. We talked about no foul territory, but I'll tell you what, when you strike out here, it's still a very long walk from home plate to the dugout. But you run out of foul territory down the lines because the stands jut out, which means foul balls, means extra swings for the hitters, and another huge region why the scores can be so high here. So here's Carroll, and a strike. 10-5 in favor of the Red Sox. Jamie is sacrificed and popped up 0 for 1. On deck, Matt Kemp. And another strike. Jamie didn't think so by his body language. No balls and 2 strikes. Nice save by Varitek. 1-2 the count. 10 runs, 12 hits, 2 errors for the Red Sox, 5 runs, 6 hits, 1 error for the Dodgers. But we're only in the 6th. Loney and Belliard out on the lines. 1 away. And chasing a bad ball, and Jamie strikes out. So Atchison comes in, strikes out Anderson and Carroll, and now Matt Kemp. Pitch way out of the plate, so Jamie badly fooled. Atchison in his career pitched for Seattle and briefly for the Giants a couple of years ago before he went to Japan. Pitched over there 2 years. And a strike. 0-1. Scotty went to Texas Christian University and picked up 4 letters at TCU. 0-1. Kemp 1 for 3, a triple. And a ground ball to Beltre. He'll go quickly to second for the force on Belliard. So the Dodgers come up with a couple of runs but leave 2, and at the end of 5 1/2, 10-5 Red Sox. Manny Ramirez returned to Fenway Park, and some candid snaps as he came up the steps. There were a lot of hands to shake and some wonderful signs in a lot of different languages. It feels good indeed, I'm sure. Hugs from former teammates, especially Big Papi David Ortiz. A fleeting moment in the life of Manny Ramirez and his relationship to Fenway Park and the fans. For the Dodgers, Garrett Anderson, who batted for Reed Johnson, is out there in left field. Nice job in relief by Scott Atchison. Now here's Darnell McDonald, who is 2 for 2. And a strike. 0-1. McDonald, as we mentioned earlier, was a high pick by the Baltimore Orioles. It never quite worked for him. That's foul. When McDonald got his first major league hit, that was 6 years ago for Baltimore. He had been wearing cornrows in his hair. But when he got his first hit, his teammate Melvin Mora took his clippers and shaved the rookie's head after the game. And McDonald said, "I always said if I made it to the major leagues, I'd take my hair all off. It was something I've always wanted to do," and he did it. One and two to Darnell McDonald. He had a brother who played minor league ball for many years. Came up briefly with the Yankees and the Royals. His father played in the Pirate organization, and this time he bites the dust. Adrian Beltre, you talk about swinging from the heels. How about swinging from the heels and then genuflecting? Watch this. Yes. And I mean upstairs through the light tower out into the street. So you've heard of a home run hitter bringing the pitcher to his knees. Ball one to Adrian. He now has 10 home runs. 48 runs batted in. And batting .341. High foul behind the plate. Martin coming back, but no play. Beltre had some good years with the Dodgers, and his last year was his best. That would be 2004. He had .334, 48 home runs, 121 runs batted in. Then he left the Dodgers, and I mean made big money with Seattle. When he left the Dodgers, the next stop with Seattle, he made $11.5 million, and that salary just kept going up, well over $13 million. So he's had a big career and a wonderful guy. Bad ball, down he goes. So 2 out, and the batter will be Jason Varitek. Dodgers using Monasterios, Troncoso, and Schlichting, and the Red Sox with Dubront and Atchison. Varitek singled up the middle, flied to right, and doubled. Jason 2 for 3, hitting .276, and a drive into right center and deep. Going to the track is Ethier to make the catch in front of the Red Sox bullpen. A long out and a 1-2-3 inning, and at the end of 6, 10-5 Boston. (10-5) in favor of the Red Sox. Time for a trivia question. The World Series MVP was first awarded in 1955. Who are the only 3 players to win it multiple times? And of course, 1955 is a memory that will forever stay alive in the borough of Brooklyn. That was the year the Brooklyn Dodgers won their only World Championship when they beat the Yankees. Russell Martin, followed by Andre Ethier and Manny Ramirez. We have gotten to the 7th inning, 10-5 Boston. Scott Atchison in relief now of Felix Doubront. That's a strike. 1-1. Two and one. That's a strike to even it up. 2-2 the count. Atchison made the club, broke spring training with the club, and then went out to Pawtucket. Meanwhile, Martin goes out and back to the dugout. So Martin goes 0 for 3, 1 out in the 7th. And for Atchison, all he did is restore order. He came in with first and second, 2 runs in and nobody out. He struck out Garrett Anderson. Then he struck out Jamie Carroll. He got Kemp to hit into a force play. And now he strikes out Martin, starting off in the 7th. And here's Ethier. Grounded to third, reached on an error, and struck out. Right. The hitting for the Dodgers. 1 hit in the top 3 in the lineup, and that was Matt Kemp's triple. Oh, and 2 the count. So Atchison throwing nothing but strikes. 9 of 10 pitches were strikes when he came in the 6th inning. Now he has struck out Martin, and he's quickly 0-2 on Ethier. Doing a great job. Ball 1. So the Denton Dandy, Scott Atchison, out of Texas. Upstairs, still 1-2. Red Sox scored 3 in the 1st and 7 in the 5th. Euclid underhanding to his man Atchison, 2 down. And Manny Ramirez. A little more feeling this time. Look at Manny. He's enjoying it, I think. He has flied to center, lined out to right, singled to center, and scored a run. Ball 1. Manny hitting .295. First time Atchison has fallen behind 2-0 to Manny. Casey Blake on deck. Two and one to count. Fastball clocked at 92. Two balls, one strike. Time. 2 out, 7th inning. 10-5 Red Sox. Manny reunited. It feels good. Red Sox are 2 games back of the Yankees and Tampa Bay. Dodgers began the game tied for first with San Diego. And that's a 3-1 count now on Manny. You don't have much room before you're hiding. If you look at Larry Boa, when you're coaching at third, you're almost in the dugout for your own safety. I mean, the coaching box is a distant memory. Stay loose. Another strike. 3-2. And got him on the inside corner, and oh, do they love that. Four strikeouts for Atchison, and at the end of 6.5, 10-5 Red Sox. Sox went right after the Dodgers and Carlos Monasterios in the first inning. 3 balls, 1 strike. Ortiz hits one over the 420 sign, and it was 2-0 Boston. And then J.D. Drew followed, hitting the top of the green monster and then back out onto the field again. And then Adrian Beltre really hits one on one knee. And whether it was a knockout blow or not, all we know in the bottom of the 7th inning, the Sox are busy again with the long single by Mike Cameron. So Cameron is 2 for 4. And the batter will be Daniel Nava. So the Dodgers looked like they were making a run in the 6th inning. And Scott Atchison has really shut him down, striking out 4 in his 2 innings. Nava has flied to left, struck out, hit by a pitch, 0-for-2. Ball 1. Monasterios, Troncoso, and Schlichting. Dodgers have Blake, Loney, and Belliard. The pitcher, of course, in the American League ballpark, not coming to bat. Anderson and Carroll finishing up the lineup. Slicing fly ball down the left field line. Anderson in the corner and makes the catch. And back to first goes Cameron. Remember the trivia question? We were talking about the fact that the MVP award started in 1955. And who are the only 3 players to win it multiple times? Well, Sandy Koufax did it twice. Bob Gibson did it twice. And Reggie Jackson did it twice. Here's Scudero, 0 for 4 with a run batted in on a force play. Scudero hitting .265. Marco with 4 home runs, 23 runs batted in. George Sherrill gets up down in the bullpen now for the Dodgers. That's a strike. Dodgers, as we mentioned, in a stretch, 15 of 18 games on the road. Cincinnati for 3, Boston for 3, Anaheim for 3. They go home for the Yankees for 3 and then go right back out on the road to San Francisco and Arizona. So it's a very tough stretch, and it's really just started. Bottom of the 7th, 10-5 Boston. Chopper, fair ball, good stop by Blake to throw him out. Wow, is that a big league play? Casey Blake going to the line to make the stop and the throw. So Scutaro losing a hit. Wonderful effort by Casey Blake, and then to throw a strike. So Dustin Pedroia coming up. When they went to Arizona State, not much difference. And for Pedroia, 2002, 3, and 4. Ethier 2002 and 3, and that's going to go to the backstop, and Cameron goes all the way to third. So it'll be a wild pitch. So 2 out, a runner at third, and Pedroia trying to pick him up. You can see Ethier 2-time All Pac-10, Dustin 3 times. The only difference is when you look at Ethier, you say, yeah, it figures. When you look at Dustin, you say, that doesn't figure. But he's a marvelous player. Pedroia, during the World Series against Colorado, hit a home run against Jeff Francis. The next day when he got to the ballpark, security didn't want to let him in. And Pedroia said to the security man, because Francona was right there with him, Pedroia said, ask Jeff Francis who I am. I hit a bomb against him yesterday. And still the security guy couldn't believe that this little guy was playing for the Red Sox, and Francona assured him he sure was. 3-1 to Dustin Pedroia. A big favorite here, understandably. You know, an interesting thing about him, when he swung last year 1,099 times, he missed hitting the ball or fouling it off only 84. That's 7%. Remarkable. So that'll bring up David Ortiz. For Joe Torre, been a bad night so far. Dodgers running out of innings. We're in the bottom of the 7th. And now Joe heading for the mound. With David Ortiz coming up, George Sherrill throwing in the bullpen, you figure you know what's going to happen. The Big Papi, as they call him here. And he's already been big enough. 6'4", 230. Sherrill jogging in, Schlichting going out. We'll be back. Coming out of the Dodger bullpen, George Sherrill in his 26th game. George's ERA almost 7. And in 17 innings, he's allowed 21 hits. So they bring him in now to face David Ortiz. Ortiz tonight hit a 2-run home run and walked 3 times. Once intentionally. So Sherrill has his hands full for sure. And a strike. Sherrill and Ortiz certainly had to face each other a few times. Ortiz is just 1 for 10 against him. One and one. Good block by Martin. You have Pedroia at first, Cameron at third. 2 out. 10-5 Red Sox in the 7th. Off the plate. 2-1. Ortiz homered on a 3-1 pitch in the first inning. It was almost following the script. We told you they attacked 3-1, 2-0, and those were the counts on the home runs. And now look out, ball 3. Ortiz 1 for 10, and of the 10 plate appearances, he has struck out 5 times against Sherrill. Swinging, fly ball. Matt Kemp, a late start, so he's going to catch it under a full head of steam, and that'll be that. So at the end of 7, it remains Red Sox 10, Dodgers 5. Red Sox lead the Dodgers 10-5. One of the famous areas, the Green Monster, and especially the old-fashioned scoreboard where the numbers and the zeros are put up. There you see behind the scenes. Just about anybody who's been there has signed his name, and I know a couple of years ago we were in there. We signed it. Rob Menchel, a whole bunch of us. So somewhere up in there, we've joined the club of being inside the scoreboard at Fenway Park. It's not a mail chute. That's where you look out. Meanwhile, Casey Blake grounded to short, popped up, doubled, 1 for 3. 10-5 Boston, top of the 8th inning. Scott Atchison has been dynamite in relief. Curveball fouled away, and Blake got that on his foot. Ted Barrett walks the ball out to the mound just to give Casey a chance to walk it off. Now Ted cleans off home plate. Anything to help the hitter or the catcher, however the case may be. Got him on the ankle, I think, left ankle. Good fastball, and down he goes. That's 5 strikeouts for Scott Atchison, who went to Japan for 2 years and obviously improved. Good fastball. Blake outguessed. So 1 away in the 8th inning. James Loney fouled out to third, flied to right, single to right to drive in 2. Kemp has 2 RBIs. Martin has 1. Loney has the other 2. And a strike. 10 runs, 13 hits, 2 errors for the Red Sox, 5, 6, and 1 for the Dodgers. Red Sox took all the air out of the steam of the crowd when they scored 7 in the 5th inning. Hit to the gap, but it's slicing, so a room service fly ball right into Daniel Nava's glove. You know, the only way to see the Dodgers and Yankees renew their rivalry with the Dodger ticket plan. Individual tickets not available. Plans start as low as $12 per seat. So buy today at Dodgers.com or give us a call, 866-DODGERS. Ronnie Belliard at the plate with 2 down. Fastball strike. Belliard doubled, flied to right, and walked. Fastball strike. Boy, that's all he does. Scott Atchison. Nice save by Varitek. 1-2 the count. Belliard hitting .262. Down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. 10-5 Boston. Fly ball to right field. McDonald has it. So the Dodgers go very quietly. Atchison has now retired 8 in a row. He's been dynamite. In fact, make it 9 in a row. 10-5 Red Sox. Red Sox leading 10-5, and the big crowd singing Sweet Caroline. All right, they're having fun here at Fenway. Dodgers and Red Sox fans shoulder to shoulder. And Ronald Belisario becomes the 5th Dodger pitcher. Monasterios, Troncoso, Schlichting, Sherrill, and now Belisario. Well, the standout pitcher has been Scott Atchison. Just when the Dodgers looked like they were going to make a run at the Sox, he came in and he's retired 9 straight. Euclid struck out, flied to left, doubled, struck out again. Right. Kevin Euclid hitting .311. Euclid tells a story. You know, he's from Cincinnati. A buddy of his had a birthday party at a batting cage, and they were hitting some balls. They had the radio on, and the Reds game was almost ready to start, and it began to drizzle. So they said, well, there's going to be a rain delay. Why don't we go to the ballpark? So they went to the ballpark, and the Dodgers were playing the Reds. And Tom Browning was pitching for Cincinnati. It started to rain. The father of the birthday boy said, well, let's go. So they left. And Tom Browning pitched a perfect game that night against the Dodgers. The Euclids learned never leave early, no matter what. 2-2. Ball 3. Euclid, then Darnell McDonald and Adrian Beltre. Fouled away. Euclid is 3rd in the American League in pitches per plate appearance. He averages over 4 pitches every plate appearance. He was 2nd in the league in 3-1 counts. Now he's run this count 3-2. Fastball, hard ground ball to Blake. Pretty play, 1 away. So Euclid grounds out. He goes 1 for 5. And the batter now will be Darnell McDonald. J.D. Drew started the game and homered in the 1st inning, charging a sinking line drive in the 3rd inning. He took a hit away from Manny Ramirez, but he had a hamstring pull and had to leave. So McDonald came in and singled in the 3rd, singled in the 5th, stole a base, scored a run, and struck out. Well, McDonald 2 for 3 tonight. McDonald's been around. He'll be 32 November the 17th. Fouled away. Darnell's mother passed away in 1999. She was only 42 years old. He had a tattoo of his mom's face put on his right shoulder. Extra inspiration. 1 ball and 1 strike. Chopper to the right side, belly yard. 2 down in the 8th inning. The batter will be Adrian Beltre. The Dodgers in the 9th inning will have Anderson, Carroll, and Kemp. They have to go some if Manny Ramirez is going to have one more at bat. Beltre lined out to short, single to right, hit a huge home run and struck out. Adrian hurt his back a little bit on that swing. He'd been swinging awfully hard. If you were watching him when he hit the home run, he wound up on his right knee. And for a minute there, he kind of rubbed the right side. 0-1 to Adrian. Cracked bat, ground ball to Loney. That'll be the inning. 1, 2, 3. I think that's the first time tonight, second time, that they've been retired in order. We're heading for the 9th, 10-5 Sox. For Manny Ramirez, a mixed reception, but there wasn't any bitterness. No objects were thrown. And I would say, all in all, the people, those who booed, seemed to be booing with good humor. So I thought, as far as the crowd reaction, the Hyundai key to the game would be not a bad reaction at all. Meanwhile, the Red Sox leading the Dodgers 10-5, 9th inning. Dustin Richardson out of Newton, Kansas. 6'6", 220, left-handed all the way, only 26 years old. For the Dodgers, Garrett Anderson, then Jamie Carroll and Matt Kemp. Foul ball out of play. By the way, the paid attendance, 37,723. A sellout at Fenway Park. And how about this? It is the 589th consecutive sellout. So you figure 80 home games, 590 just about, over 7 years of sellouts. Garrett Anderson came off the bench in the 6th inning as a pinch hitter and struck out. Scott Atchison came in, retired 9 in a row and struck out 5. I mean, he just was absolutely brilliant. And now Dustin Richardson. Ball 2. Richardson made his debut with the Sox in September last year. Was in 3 games. At 6'6", you know he played basketball in high school. That's a strike. 2-2 the count to Garrett. A little annoyed on the call. Two balls and 2 strikes. Dustin, the pride of Texas Tech. And a drive to right. McDonald going back to the track and reaches up. Can't make it. It's in the Dodger bullpen. Home run for Garrett Anderson. So McDonald comes up empty, Anderson comes up with a home run, and the Dodgers get a little closer, 10-6. For Garrett Anderson, that would be his second home run. The other one came as a pinch hitter. Dodger bullpen has the souvenir. Jamie Carroll has sacrificed, popped up, and struck out as Anderson gets fives in the dugout. Ball one. Jamie 0 for 2, hitting ninth. Don't forget, Vicente Padilla and Tim Wakefield tomorrow. Hiroki Kuroda against Clay Buchholz on Sunday. Then the Dodgers head for Anaheim. They're lucky they have Monday off because Sunday's game is an 8 p.m. game here in Boston. So body time, if they play an 8 p.m. game, it's over at 11. They take off at 1:30. It's at least a 6-hour flight. So body time, they'll get back to L.A. 7:30 in the morning. Or if you want to turn your clocks back, 4:30 in the morning on Monday. But at least they have Monday off before they play the Angels Tuesday night. Two and one. 2-2. Carroll seeing Anderson break the spell after 9 in a row went down. Matt Kemp waiting on deck. And a strike. Carroll can't believe it, but he's done. So Jamie strikes out his second time, 1 away. Matt Kemp coming up. He is struck out, tripled, flied to center, and hit into a force play. Committed an error. Matt's triple scored Reed Johnson in the third inning when the Dodgers scored 3. At the moment, it tied up the game. However, the Red Sox came up with 7 in the 5th inning to break it wide open, and the Dodgers unable to respond. So 10-6 Boston with 1 out in the 9th. Red Sox, if they hold on to the lead, have a homestand where they are 6-1. And that's going to be a base hit to center for Matt Kemp. And the batter will be Russell Martin. Dodgers are 2-4 against the American League, but they've lost 8 of the last 11. Martin grounded to second base twice, once picking up a run, walked, and struck out. So Russell 0 for 3. Right. 0-1. DuBrant, Atchison, and Richardson. Then for the Dodgers, Monasterio, Troncoso, Schlichting, Sherrill, and Belisario. Bounced that thing. Nice block by Varitek. And down by 4 in the 9th inning. Matt Kemp is not about to try to take the base. One ball and 1 strike. Two and 1. On deck, Andre Ethier, and I would think a lot of the people sitting here are really hoping in one way to have one more chance to say whatever to Manny. 1 out, and Martin and Ethier are ahead of him. Three and one. Apparently we're having some technical difficulties. Boston a long way from Los Angeles, so we're working as hard as we can to fix it. Please bear with us. 3-1 the count to Russell Martin. Fouled away, 3-2. Dodgers down by 4, and Manny Ramirez in the dugout would be the tying run if each man got aboard. Wouldn't that be a finish to this game? If the Dodgers had one more shot and it was in the hands of Manny Ramirez. No, we'll see. 3-2. Little ground foul. So Anderson homered, Carroll struck out, Kemp singled, and Martin 3-2. Ethier on deck. Dustin Richardson. And a line drive base hit exploding into left field. Don't go anywhere. I mean, here comes Ethier. And if somehow Ethier gets on, would that put the ribbon on the package with Manny? And here comes Terry Francona as Martin gets a base hit. So where Atchison was perfect, retired 9 in a row, young Richardson can't cut it. He gives up a home run and 2 singles with 1 out. And they are going to go to the bullpen, so we'll be back. 10-6 in favor of the Red Sox. Andre Ethier coming up, and the tying run, believe it or not, is Manny Ramirez on deck. But, of course, Ethier has to extend the inning as Manny tries to warm up. Right-hander Daniel Bard coming out of the bullpen. Born in Houston, but lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. He was a #1 pick by the Red Sox only 4 years ago out of the University of North Carolina. His dad went to Tufts and was a 6th-round pick by the Dodgers in 1980. Hot one, smothered by Euclid. Down to second for 1, to first, not in time. Oh, what a play by Euclid. Ethier is robbed. And that ruins the play. If that goes by, then Ramirez is the potential tying run. And Ethier just did beat the return throw. Was that thing ever drilled? So one more time, here comes Manny. Well, for real drama, it's a shame that ball didn't go by. That would have been absolutely perfect. The Dodgers, by the way, 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position. But it took a terrific play by Euclid. So here's Manny. First and third, 2 out. Dodgers down by 4. And there goes Ethier. They're going to pay any attention to him. So that's defensive indifference, no stolen base, but it does take a forced play away. 0-1 to Manny. Fly to center, lined out to right, single to center, and struck out. 1 for 4. When he struck out, he was called out on. 1-1. Bard, a first-round pick, and they say that his fastball has been clocked as high as 100 miles an hour. Then he has a slider and a changeup. He is 6'4", 200-pounder. One and two to Manny Ramirez. Now, a lot of the folks on their feet. Fouled away. Up above the roof and out. 37,723. Another sellout crowd. 589 straight sellouts. And they tell me a sellout tomorrow and a sellout on Sunday. And so it goes in Beantown. Now Baratek going out to counsel young Bard. Big spot for a kid, first-round pick, facing Manny. Right-hand batters last year hit only 200 against him. And one home run. He throws hard. 1 and 2. Breaking ball off the plate. So that was a slider away. Deuce is wild here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on. Red Sox lead by 4. First base open. Got him. He knew it. He threw him back-to-back sliders, one away and one right over the plate. There was no argument from Manny. He was looking fastball and guessed wrong. So the Red Sox beat the Dodgers 10-6. The Red Sox have now won 6 out of 7 on this homestand, 8 of 10 against the National League. The Dodgers are now 2-5 against the American League. They've lost 9 of the last 12 against the American League. And now they have a little 2-game losing streak, and they've split the 4 so far on the road trip. We had 4 home runs hit in tonight's game, a total of $72,000 raised in our game for prostate cancer research. To make a donation, call 800-798-CURE or go online, pcf.org. 10 runs, 13 hits, 2 errors for the Red Sox. 6 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error for the Dodgers. And we remind you now to stay tuned for Dodgers Live coming up next. Good night, everybody.